Hello, AI experts, and hello, aspiring data scientists. Today, we have with us Mr. Anshuman, who happens to be Associate Director in Deloitte. And Anshuman has been working in the space of data, trying to get into the finer nuances of how businesses benefit through data science, data analytics, etc. Right? And let us today hear from Mr. Anshuman directly on what are the finer nuances which people usually miss out and how can they pay attention to such things to get into this field of data science and become AI experts. Thank you so much, Anshuman, for giving your time. And for this specific question, a lot of people are aspiring to get into the field of data science. They want to become data scientists, AI experts, ML engineers, so on and so forth. What would be a few key points that they have to pay attention to successfully get into this field, Anshuman?
Hi, Bharani. Thanks for inviting me onto this forum and podcast. And hello, data scientist and aspiring data scientist as well. I have two thoughts broadly. Any data science is based on four primary pillars. We have domain, we have mathematics, statistics, we have programming, and then we have the deployment, and that is cloud. So these four, when they come together, they are bringing whatever practices that we adopt in data science to real world for its real world common consumption. While that is one side of the coin, the other side of the coin is I would also like to highlight that the career as we speak starts with letter T and not C. Again, all of you may have a thought, Anshuman has forgotten alphabets maybe, but let me give you a new perspective. Okay, so if you look at any career, why do I say career starts with letter T and not C? Is because if you look at the letter T, there is the perpendicular line that is going deep, and there is the horizontal that resides on top of this perpendicular line. The perpendicular line here represents the depth of your domain, and horizontals are all enablers. So your enablers are your mathematical acumen, your statistical understanding of concepts, programming, data, machine learning, coding, and all other attributes, including communication skill and presentation skill as well. Because without effective communication, I don't think any of the data science works. And not just that, it is essential that you develop effective communication skill to speak to various stakeholders across the entire data science value chain, both within your team as well as to the external ecosystem as well. So while all of these lie on the horizontal, they are all lying on the foundation of the depth of the domain that you have. Okay, while many people I see are building their career on the horizontals, and while they have all the skills in place, they're now looking at where do I apply my skills. Okay, they're looking for new projects. This is because they have not spent adequate time in going on a particular depth, going into particular domain and going to greater depth, because eventually data science is a subject that will compel you to greater depth of that given domain. All the finer aspects, these variables that you are trying to analyze, it is essential to understand what does this variable mean, why is this variable so important, what is the characteristic of this variable, how are various variables coming together to help you understand more detail about this domain, what are the other variables which are not captured in the data that is present to you but are equally relevant and important, right? So while the person who has given you the data has given you X set of variables, but are they the ones with which you can solve the problem, or do you need some more data? Now, unless until you have domain understanding, you will not know what are the other questions to ask or other data to find, or you not know where you can find them. Hence, domain with your enablers will make you a very powerful and effective data science professional. That is why this is very, I feel that, and this also gives birth to another aspect of this entire thing, and that is it also helps you become an effective entrepreneur in course in time as well, right? Because of your deep insights of the domain that you have got, you are, and see, let's be pragmatic, right? The world that we live in, the people whom we all admire are all super specialists. Name any person in your mind whom you admire. All of them are super specialists. Be it Mr. Virat Kohli, be it Mr. Tendulkar, be it Mr. Federer, be it any other, be it any top Supreme Court lawyer, Justice Chandrachud, who is the Supreme Court Chief Justice, or any other person whom we all admire and respect and etc. All of them are super specialists in their domain. So one of the key aspect is, while there is a and on the other hand, if you look at it, with the advent of this LLM and Gen AI and all of this, common knowledge, you have a lot of competition now. There are a lot of tech which is giving you a big run for your money for you to be a generalist. So I would sincerely urge, and I would request and appeal all the aspiring data scientists and also the practitioners as well. See, the sciences are here to stay. All the core sciences are here to stay. World works on these sciences because they are natural sciences. And if you see, the world that we are living in are all becoming amalgamation of various sciences coming together, including data science. What is data science? It is an amalgamation of mathematics, statistics, and computer science, right? These three subjects amalgamated and gave birth to a subject called data science. You have computational biology, you have any other computational finance or any other thing, right? All of these subjects are amalgamation of many core subjects coming together and giving birth to newer ones. But again, they are all relying upon one core domain. Hence, I will urge and request and appeal all the practitioners as well as aspiring to have a domain of their identified domain of their interest. Because once you have identified domain of your interest, more time you spend with it, the multiplier effect you have of the accrued knowledge over time is manifold more. This complemented with the add-on skills that you are enhancing, the enablers that you are enhancing, makes you much more high impact professional than any other. So I think so this is where, Bharani, you may share your thoughts as well. You have been a practitioner.
Absolutely, Anshuman. Well said. A few of the key points that you have told is that one has to probably, as opposed to becoming a generalist, saying that I'm going to work on projects from finance, life sciences, healthcare, sports, geospatial analytics, etc. You might want to choose one domain. We also, as part of our company, we came up with 76 plus domain analytics programs. Sports analytics, financial analytics, geospatial analytics, defense analytics, so on and so forth, for people to specialize. So once you become a generalist by studying all these subjects, the core sciences, with which Anshuman was talking about, once you get decent understanding of that, pick up one of the domain which actually interests you and get into the depth of it, right? And that is what is the alphabet T, which Anshuman was talking about. In career, you have to remember T, not C, right? So get into the depth of the domain, you'll become a master at it, do multiple projects from that domain, and then when you apply for jobs, be it Infosys, TCS, Wipro, any of the service-based companies, they will have an industry to which a lot of people will be aligned. You can directly go and fit into that, right? You'll be more preferred than those people who are generalists. Another very important point which Anshuman has made is that the general knowledge pertaining to machine learning algorithms or the code, etc., is already available thanks to the advent of large language models. You go and ask an appropriate prompt, probably, you can say, please explain me decision tree algorithm considering me as a newbie to the field of data science. Give me an example pertaining to finance and explain me step by step and treat me as a kid. These kind of prompts will give you literature. By just reading that, you get the knowledge. Now, this is not only restricted to you. Anyone else can issue such prompts and gain appropriate knowledge. The amount of code which is publicly available is not restricted to only you. Everyone else has access to that. So once you learn these concepts, who are you? How are you going to compete in the world and get into this field of data science will determine the perpendicular or the vertical bar which Anshuman was talking about. So get into that, become an expert in a specific domain, and you are going to rock the world. No doubt about that. And Anshuman, I have a question for you. Do you think this domain knowledge, or certainly it will help, but to what extent do you think it is going to help people interact with the customers during the problem identification phase? And how is it going to differentiate them from the other generalists?
See, let's look at this, right? Now, your customer has captured certain set of data points and has shared and has given a problem statement. Now, if you have your domain understanding, you would know that the data points that are provided to you, are they sufficient enough to solve the problem, or there are other data points that are also equally important to solve this problem, which is not presented to you in solving this, right? So, and then you will also know where you can find this data from, which are the systems from where you can find this data and how you can capture them, so that you are able to solve the problem. Because if I give, say, let's take the world of finance, right? Most of the financial instruments in the world follow power law. Okay, most of the, what is the definition of power law, or how do we know that they follow power law? So if you look at what is the classic measure of a data following normal distribution, kurtosis is equal to 3, right? K is equal to 3, right? Now, if you look at any financial instrument, their 1-day kurtosis, 6 months kurtosis, or 1-year kurtosis, you will clearly see that all of them are K's definitely more than 3, hands down. Now, on other hand, you have learned your typical machine learning methods, which are, say, for example, using Gaussian distribution, right? Or they, quote unquote, the world is following the normal distribution rate. So while you are wearing the normal distribution spectacle and trying to see power law distribution, how do you think you are going to make any effective decision? And how many data points of power law will it make that data normal? Do you know that it is 10 power 14? So 10 power 14 data points are needed for any power law distribution to start behaving like normal. Now, do we have so much data, or is the client going to provide you so much data to analyze it? I doubt, right? So in such a scenario, when you're using methods which are not suited to the distribution, but since you are trained on this and you're only, that this one weapon with which I'll kill all enemies, it doesn't happen so. Hence, it is important for you to know how does that given domain behave? What is the characteristic of that domain? And then you have to see the methods that you have equipped with yourself right now. Are those methods equipped enough to solve that problem or not? Or do you now need a new set of skills or capabilities to solve a given set of problem which have a very unique characteristic, unlike the skills that have been imparted to you as we speak. So unless until you have domain understanding and you do not know the behavior and characteristic of that given industry, domain, or that science, and using one method to solve all problems, okay, neural networks or LSTMs or any other such transformers, etc., you want to solve with one method everything, I don't think it works well.
Sure. Absolutely, Anshuman. Each time I have a conversation with you, I get really, different orthogonal opinions and thoughts. This has been the same while we were attending the ISB sessions, seated in the class. I was always looking at you talk about points which used to bounce over my head back then, yeah. And there were very different thoughts, and so are your thoughts today. In career, you have alphabet T. In itself was, thought-provoking thing. And then telling to the world at large that look at the perpendicular, look at the vertical bar, gain domain knowledge, don't become a generalist. You have access to large language models, right? And financial data follows a different distribution. If you know that there is something called as normal distribution and there are a lot of techniques surrounding that, don't get fixated to those things, right? All these are extremely thought-provoking points, and a lot of our people who are watching this would certainly benefit from the thoughts and inputs given by Anshuman.
Thank you. I sincerely hope so, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt, no second thought. And thank you so much for pulling out time from your busy schedule and sharing your thoughts. It would benefit the data science community at large for sure. Thank you, Anshuman, once again for your time.
My pleasure. And thank you for inviting once again. Always a pleasure and honor speaking to you. I know you have done well, and wishing you a lot of success. Many more new accomplishments come under your belt. With that, we'll catch up soon.
Sure. Thank you so much, Anshuman. Have a great weekend and great career and life ahead. Thank you.